Welcome to Archery Country Podcast. Welcome back, everybody. Archery Country Podcast. This is your host, WG, as we're getting set to take you on this little roller coaster ride called Shop Talk. We're in the Rogers studio, sitting with Keith Peltjohn and Dan Block, and also Jack Opatz. This is the crew. This is our hood. These are our boys. You heard the St. Cloud podcast, and we got a lot of awesome feedback on the Shop Talk, kind of a little background, a little history, a little passion search, more or less. So we decided, why not do it with every shop? There's no competition, I promise you, between shops, but there is. So we're going to do it bigger and better. Welcome, boys. How is everybody doing?
Real good.
Really
Excellent.
Good. That's nice.
Good.
Nice. The cool thing about this podcast is we got a little, we're letting the chain out a little bit. We're going to have a little fun. This is going to be more of a social interaction, more of an entertaining podcast. And we're going to get down and talk about some things in the shop that a lot of people don't get to see or hear. And everything's good. Everything's cool. We're not going to single anybody out, but we're going to have some fun. So starting it, as we did, kind of tradition, the oldest and wisest would be to my right, but we're going to go with the gentleman that has been here the longest with Archery Country, Mr. Dan. And if you wouldn't mind, kind of where you got started, how you actually didn't start in the Rogers. You started Rogers, but you didn't start working for Archery Country in the Rogers location.
Correct. Yep.
So kind of where you came from, you know, your background. Obviously, we have a pretty good idea on that, but just a little bit more insight with your history of Archery Country.
So I actually got into archery, actually bow fishing. I grew up on a little private lake out by Clearwater, and my dad bought me a little bow when I was 8 or 9 years old, and pretty much all the summers I'd wade in the water, wouldn't even use a boat, and shoot fish in the shallows, and that's kind of how I got into the sport. And then I have an older cousin who's about 4 years older. His name is Sam, and he'd do a lot of 3D shoots out by Avon and the St. Cloud area, and just kind of got into local 3D shoots and really got into archery in high school and whatnot. I really didn't even play any sports. I just hunted a lot in the fall. And basically from there, I went to the St. Cloud store a couple times, bought a few bows from them, and I asked if they were hiring. And Jake, the owner, pulled me off to the side, asked me a few questions, and the next day I pretty much had a job. So
This is after high school?
Correct, yep.
Okay.
So a year or two after high school.
Right on. So you've been here a long time, well, a while.
Yep, 2009.
I believe you and Buck are the oldest employees, or not oldest, but longest.
Yeah, Brandon's been there since I think 2003 or 2004, and then I started in 2009.
And then the shop here in Rogers, where we're sitting today, this is going on 8 years?
2013, so 9.
9 years. And you actually helped in, for those of you that have never been to the Rogers location, it's actually I guess you call it a mini strip mall, kind of. It's a building with 3 or 4
Correct, yep.
Suites, yeah. And then you actually, a lot of these walls you built?
Yeah, actually where the work area is was actually a bridal shop. So we actually sheetrocked everything and moved some stuff around and built the range. And
that explains a lot.
Yeah, we're not carpenters, so.
No, I meant the bridal shop. No, it's all good. So yeah, you've been here since, I mean, this is kind of your baby in a sense. You're the manager. Yeah. You've had a lot of employees. I didn't say a lot. You've had some awesome employees in the past, where I know I'm very appreciative of the opportunity here because of you and Jake, of course. We'll kind of go around the history, and then we'll talk a little bit about passions, because you do a lot more than just archery.
Yep.
You're kind of a gun connoisseur as well. You do some stuff out west, bow hunting, and you've actually had a very extensive, I wouldn't say career, but you've hunted a ton out west, probably more than most of us sitting here. I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, more than me.
I mean, I went to school
I'd say
out west.
you probably hunted out west more. Mainly just deer. I mean,
I suppose. I mean, it helped that I was there for 4 years. and then kind of grew up way out west. But we'll get to that. It's not my turn. God damn it. Keith,
Yes, sir.
I think you got one of the coolest stories. You and I are a lot of alike, where we kind of had something going before pro shop life.
Yep.
Take us on your little ride.
Well, I appreciate the oldest comment coming in. Thank you.
Well, I
Oldest
mean,
but the wisest.
I know, that's
Great.
just how you put butter on it, though, you know.
you can't frost a cake that's not baked, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
There you go. So as far as getting into archery, you know, when I was 12, I decided I wanted a bow. Ended up with my dad's second-hand, third-hand old Dart SL50. Ended up buying it back from a friend of his to get me back in. You know,
You actually remember the model.
I do. Somebody traded one in here 2 years ago, and I bought it because I wanted it, and it's sitting in my basement.
Sentimental.
It's exactly the same bow, yeah.
Right on.
Never killed a deer with it, but anyway. So started there. Bow hunted, shot 3D forever. You know, like when we were growing up in Pennsylvania, there was a 3D shoot every Sunday. So we'd go, me, dad, and my brother. We actually got my dad back into bow hunting, so that was kind of cool. So the three of us would go shoot 3Ds every weekend, and you know, became a passion for me. Obviously, ended up moving around. I went to culinary school. Ended up working at some hotels, casinos around the country. I worked in Colorado, Arizona, Nevada, and then I ended up getting a job working with IndyCar and traveling around doing the chef thing with them. And in the meantime, ended up finding these guys when I moved here, started shopping here, and then decided with my off time and the, you know, the downtime in the off season, it'd be good to come in and get a part-time job. And Dan made the mistake of hiring me, and he said, you know, yeah, we'll do some part-time stuff. And then that was right about the time, kind of similar to your story, you know, kind of about the same time COVID hit and everything else kind of petered out or slowed down, and this picked up really well. So turned into full-time, and I'm loving it.
And so the guys in St. Cloud were all within 30 minutes of the store. You actually live a little bit further south than any of us.
I'm out in Howard Lake, yep.
But pretty good drive.
Yeah, 40, 45 minutes. But
it was an easy transition for you. Like you say, you and I have kind of a unique story. We weren't really pushed into this situation at all. I don't ever want that to come off like that, but we were nudged.
Yeah.
Because
actually,
you know, I mean, how many years were you?
Right. Yeah, I did 16 years, you know, on the road with a couple different programs, but yeah.
And when we say IndyCar, like big time, like the big names,
yeah,
I mean, we get the enjoyment. You tell some pretty cool stories, which we may get to later.
Yeah, like it wasn't dirt track racing. It was IndyCar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, IndyCar, and then what's now IMSA, which was the old Tudor series, the Rolex series. So sports cars too. Over the last few years, or last handful of years, ended up working a couple different series. Yeah, you know, my favorite part of all of it, I think, was when I was working for Penske. You know, Team Penske was kind of where I started in it, and then ended up back there towards the end. And I say the end, I still kind of work with them. I still consult for them a little bit, but it's it was pretty fun.
And then all of that time that you were out west and then running the road, you know, but you still had time for archery.
Yep.
And your brother is you guys hunt a lot together.
Yeah, we hunt together
shoot
a lot
together.
Yep. Shoot 3Ds and hunt together.
And he lives here now.
Correct. Yep. He moved up here now, so that's nice. And I did have took a hiatus when my shoulder, you know, I had a shoulder issue, and I had a few years where I didn't bow hunt at all. And then realized I could shoot lefty, and I ended up switching over, and now I haven't, there hasn't been a season I haven't shot. So
let's break that down just a little bit. Are you right eye dominant?
Yeah.
So a lot of times, and you guys can attest to this, people will come in and they're left eye dominant shooting right hand, or right-handed right eye dominant. Not very often do we see them shooting opposite on the left-hand side, but you had to.
Yeah, exactly.
You weren't going to not shoot archery because your shoulder went shit. Right. You just went and switched left-handed.
Yep.
You're very, very good left-handed.
Okay.
You can shoot when you're healthy. You can shoot right-handed still.
Yeah.
Lower poundage.
Yep. Well, after the years of shooting left-handed, I actually built the muscle mass around that shoulder where it would hold up a little better, and I started to be able to shoot right-handed again. But I still leave it left-handed just for good measure, just in case.
It's a good measure.
Yep.
Jacko, you are Jacko Pats is the youngest. Are you the youngest employee?
Yeah, I think so.
I guess
I would definitely say.
Yeah, I am.
I think you are, yeah. But you've been you actually been with Archery Country longer than Keith and I. You started in St. Cloud.
Yep.
Jack gets picked on a lot because of his hair. But he's a good dude, and you do very well in the pro shop for being so young. Like when customers come in, that's one that they'll say the younger guy, because we're all kind of the same age. But we're obviously high school wasn't very long ago. But how did you come up into archery? Did you start when you were real young, or where's the story start?
Yeah, so my dad's a big outdoorsman. He had a bow in my hand at age 10. I shot my first doe, and from there, me and him just bond in the outdoors. We had still to this day, a great time going on trips and stuff like that. How I got tied into Archery Country really is just I was working around the area in the outdoor industry. I remember Brandon set me up when I was a kid, like 9, 10, and I swung in one day. I'm like, hey, is there any part, side, like cardboard, anything? And I started working, a couple hours here and there. Next thing I knew, I was full-time. And then from there, a job opening opened up when, I forget who it was. I think it was Nate who was going to leave, and they were going to hire full-time. So Brandon was going to put an ad out, and I was like, wait a second. You think it's possible that I could take that and go full-time instead of part-time? Because I really love it here. And next thing I knew, I was working full-time in St. Cloud. That was in 2020, and then landed here over COVID, and now I'm in Rogers.
Now you're stuck. Did you actually take cardboard out in St. Cloud?
It was like, it was like, honestly, it was only like a couple days a week, and then I just kept getting put on the schedule more and more, and then I was part-time after I filled a position there. And then, like I said, I thought about it. I went to school for a year, and I talked to Brandon. I'm like, hey, this ad, is there any way that I can fill this for you? And I figured, school's always an option. I didn't want to pass up that great opportunity, so I jumped on that, and parents and everybody else were all on board. So
absolutely. That's a lot of people don't understand. It's just like any job. There's the full timers are the only guys that you hear on the podcast. I don't know if we've had a part timer on in 33 episodes. Maybe we have. I don't know. But that we do have some part time help. A lot of down here in Rogers. A lot of the guys will work weekends. We have three.
Yeah.
So, yep. Great. They're great guys. One of them actually worked full time and then got a different job and then comes back and helps us. So every once in a while you'll see a new face, but the like Jacob Irwin, he's been here with a year or two.
I think 2 years now, but he was a customer since I remember him in St. Cloud.
Oh, yeah.
And then Zach, he actually works right in Grayco, or at Grayco and Rogers here.
Yeah.
And then Isaiah was actually a full-time employee for a couple of years here too. So. And
that, that's the kind of the same situation arises is like John was a customer and then became an employee. And then Adam, we talked about in St. Cloud, was a customer and then an employee. Jack, Keith, I was Dan's customer, I guess you could say. Got asked this the other day why I didn't really talk about my past, and that's because I'm not. We're associated with Archery Country as a whole, but we have our locations, and I'm part of the Rogers location. I was a customer. I can remember it like it was yesterday. I did a lot of shooting at a different shop and had some buddies that ran that, and they kind of went belly up. And I just this was back like right when we were getting smartphones, right? And looked up Archery Country. I thought it was a box store just like Cabela's. I didn't know anything about it. And I stopped in, and Dan was the first guy that I'd seen. And then we went from there. I traded in, I think, 3 bows and got 1 bow, and then
3 PSEs.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yep. And then I didn't really ever work for you, but for many years I turned into shooting for the shop as far as target archery, and kind of Dan was my guy, and I remember, we had a few other Isaac would help me out once in a while there at the end, but then kind of came on. For those of you that don't know, for 17 years I announced, if we back up before then, how I got started, I guess.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I was a young lad. I grew up in Miltona, which is north of Alexandria. And bow hunting, we had a small pro shop, but we never went there, right? Like Fleet Farm and Kmart, that's where we went for outdoor products. I remember I said, Dad, I want to get into archery. He's like, okay. He had a bow that was 28.5 inches, and I was probably 26. But he took an old wrestling mat. We had a wrestling mat down in the bottom of the basement. He took off a corner of it, and he actually duct taped the grip. It was 3 extra inches, so that I could, when I drew, I could actually see through the peep. And that's what I started with. And then my uncles are very avid, and they actually bought me a bow for Christmas. And I think it was a Browning. I'm not as good as Keith. I don't remember what it was. It wasn't very good, I'll tell you that. And then went on, and I remember buying my first Waite, and then just carried on. I didn't really get into target archery until I moved down after college, and I was announcing full time. Met my wife, now my wife at the time, and we lived in Maple Grove, and I got into target archery in 2015. And then I was the dumb guy who bought one off of Archery Talk, and it was wrong, and I had to get it fixed, and then it just kind of went. I shot bow hunter class for a couple years and then dabbled with the open, and then all of a sudden it took off. And I did that route for a while. I still compete quite a bit, not as much as I did once with the with announcing. Like I said, I did that for 17 years, went all over the United States, never left the United States, but I got a great opportunity to grow fast. Once in a while here in the shop, I'll break out the old announcer voice, and guys will get a kick out of it. But it was a character. I stepped into a character and played a character for 2.5 hours, no matter what it was, because no matter where we were, it doesn't matter if we were in Buffalo or Clearwater Rodeo, is a rodeo that a lot of people know that I've called for many years. You don't want to hear some Norwegian / crossbred speaking Minnesotan on the microphone. So, there's a character that I stepped into, and it is my voice, but it's not my voice. And anyways, that took place. And then the dreaded COVID, the unfortunate thing about that is the very first thing that got wiped away was entertainment. The big scare, no one could be together in a packed area. Well, concerts and rodeo and anything outside or inside, that got washed away.
IndyCar.
So, and the cool thing is we had contracts. The uncool thing is a contract will not uphold on any sort of pandemic. Everybody has a venue. So, you go from announcing 75 performances a year to announcing 6, you got to do something. And Dan gave me an opportunity. It was a couple hours a week, couple days a week. Kind of whenever I showed up, they had something for me to do. And then by the grace of, if you believe in it, a good Lord upstairs said, here's an opportunity. You can stay home. You can get off the road. You can have less expenditures. You can, raise your kids the right way and do it. And it worked out. And I've been here. And I love it. I love every aspect of it, even taking cardboard out. But that's my story. And there's a lot I left out of it, but that's where I come from.
Now, at some point we're going to have the voice on this.
I'll give you a little dabble as
right.
we get into
it. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Can you do like an upbringing on your little thing here?
I don't have a recorded button.
Okay.
But the intro, the outro, a lot of people don't know that that's me. A lot of people do.
I know we do have customers that think it's Dan, but
the Archery Country podcast.
It's because he says it all the time. And he's very good at it.
It's awesome.
The passion that I like this word passion, because we do have it. We're not just bow junkies that are in the shop wrenching and fixing and setting up. We love it. That's a major portion of our life. A lot of people don't understand this. I see you guys more than I see my family, especially during busy season. So we are a family. We work off each other. And this is the easiest, but one of the hardest jobs in the world, as far as you got to be able to go 100 miles an hour all the time. Even right now, it's not the busiest time of the year, but you come in on Saturday, and good Lord, Susan, you're going to have your britches pulled up. It's a maze, and we get through it But there's a drive outside of these doors that we all clinch on. I have hunted out west, had a lot of success. The whole whitetail, shoot, I still yet to shoot a huge buck, but the goal was Pope and Young, and I've got to there, and I don't want to get caught up on the whole score deal. I just want to have great hunts. I really get a kick out of trail cameras. Like, I think it's added so much, and I guess if I were to ask what's your passion besides, the adult thing for me to say right now is taking my boys out and getting them going. But I still like to hunt for myself. I do go to the Dakotas every year, and then Minnesota, I got some pretty cool properties. So I guess that would be my passion, though. Like, what I drive for is accuracy. From arrow builds, target archery gives me that opening, that venue. From shooting paper, which is absolutely boring, inside, to shooting 3D, which I love, to now field archery has become a pretty good passion. Like, one thing that gets me going, like, I think about 20 hours of the day, is how to make my setup better, how to make it more accurate, how to make me more accurate. Every shot needs to hit exactly where the pin or the dot is. That would be my passion. Correct arrow build, tune, everything that I'm learning in the shop I implement, and then vice versa. Everything I know I implement into the shop. So that would be mine. But Jack, let's go opposite way around the horn. Like, what you have a lot of success hunting. When we say west, you're still East River of
Correct.
Missouri. But
Yeah.
like, you're kind of our whitetail good, You've had a lot of success.
Yeah, I haven't really dabbled a lot with anything else, really. Just hunting South Dakota whitetails. I haven't had the chance to go on any elk hunts or mule deer hunts or anything like that. I've had the privilege, spoiled really as far as private property goes, around Minnesota, and then also being able to hunt private in South Dakota. Uncle also has acreage in New Richmond, Wisconsin, so I've had a lot of different spots I can go to. So I feel like it's tough for me to leave those, and I'd love to go mule deer hunting and stuff like that, but I just on my own cold turkey, I stick to the whitetails.
Yeah. Where is that your passion? I mean, is there anything else? Like, you don't have to get in deep, but
just being out, really. I just escape reality, being in the tree. There's nothing better. You and nature. I mean, you can't beat it.
You do a lot of shed hunting too, don't you?
Yeah. I'd like to do more, but also
that means you got to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You turkey, you're obviously, maybe not obviously, you turkey hunt quite a bit.
Yep. Yeah, I really, that's probably one of my bigger passions too, is turkey hunting. I really enjoy calling, decoys, stuff like that. I actually got my grandpa his first bird. He's 75. I got him that 2 years ago. So when I fill my tag, I still like to go, and I like to take a lot of people out, and I really enjoy that. We fell short last year, but
yeah, I was gonna say it's the first time it's the first time in my life I ever actually had somebody take me to their property as far as turkey hunting. We got close.
Yeah.
We got close. Grandpa wouldn't let us shoot the one in the backyard, but actually he probably would have if we had to work.
Yeah, we had to get going. Otherwise, that was a good encounter. But yeah, just overall, the outdoors really is my biggest passion. I mean,
and a lot of people don't know, but you're a natural caller. You're with your mouth. He doesn't use a diaphragm reed call, you can use a box call and a slate call, but you're a natural caller. Not very many people can do that. Once in a while. Daniel, what do we do, man?
Yeah, I've hunted the Midwest. I've hunted Dakotas quite a bit. A lot of Nebraska the last couple, probably 10 years actually. Kansas I've hunted. My in-laws actually live in Wisconsin, so I've kind of hunted everywhere. I have 3 kids, so it's been a little bit tougher ever since having kids, just going on trips and stuff, but still enjoy them. I like to shoot guns and rifle shooting and stuff. I love to
shoot
fish.
Coyotes.
Yeah, I love shooting coyotes. Yeah. Yeah, I like to ice fish. I like to be in the boat. Like to, shoot.
I
my
wish
bow.
everybody could meet Dan's boys. His daughter is this perfect little angel. And then he's got Mini Hulk Hogan and Jake the Snake. the videos of these two, they're the coolest boys in the world. And I'm just going to warn you, you're going to have your hands full.
Yeah.
I mean, you do already.
I was just say Gunna. Holy cow.
Yeah, they're pretty wild, but they're fun. So
I wanted to bring up the
good, though.
TV story.
Oh, I mean, I'd say it's on the table.
yeah, right now we got a brand new TV. That's 2 weeks old. The other
Explain to us why we got a brand new TV before the Super Bowl, Dan.
Yeah. So actually, Easton, the twin that came out first, he's kind of reckless. He grabbed onto the corner. It was actually just on a TV stand, and actually tipped it over, knocked it over, which is luckily no one actually got hurt. But yeah, 55 inch
everybody's
TV
cool.
came crashing down. Yeah.
Are they
Yep, they're identical. Yep.
And Easton and
Riggs.
But
Yeah.
Easton was a couple minutes first.
3 minutes first. Yeah. Yep.
They're going to be between those two and Ridge.
Jake's son. Yeah.
Yeah, and our shops we better put up safety nets.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you do other things than archery.
Yep.
That's what I was getting at.
Yep.
And like you say, you're always busy.
Yep.
No sleep.
No.
And then
Yeah, I have a lot of hobbies. I don't really dedicate my time towards just one hobby,
Yeah.
which is kind of
universal.
Yeah,
I like that
right.
word. Keither,
Yeah, buddy.
out east. How come you don't have an east? Do they have an eastern accent in Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
Where you were?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, a little, yeah.
I mean, your dad kind of has a little bit of. You can hear it a little bit. Your brother once in a while.
Yeah, my brother and his wife still.
You've been kind of Midwesternized, I guess.
Yeah, I moved around enough, I think. I left Pennsylvania when I was 17, 18, right out of high school.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I've just moved around enough where things kind of settled. So
You
but yeah.
still go back east and hunt.
Still go back east and hunt. We try and go up on the mountain with Dad every gun season, and then I, as far as my, passion outside of this, I mean, gun hunt back east with Dad. My Western hunting has been pretty limited lately, obviously, but I've hunted Montana, Colorado. Went to New Mexico with my brother when he got a tag down there. When he shot his first bull, that was really cool. He shot it the day before I got in, so that was great. So we just got to do all the work after I got there.
Glad that, yeah.
But it's I love being in the woods. As far as hunting goes, I mean, whitetail, hunting out of a tree stand with the bow is really my go-to for that. This year I was pretty limited on that. I know we've talked about that before. I ended up with a crossbow this year because of back surgery, but goal is get back in a tree this year.
Which you were successful with.
Yeah.
You might be the only one here that's ever shot a crossbow and harvested an animal. I know I haven't.
I haven't.
I haven't.
There you go.
There you go. There you go. Give her the go.
There we go.
Give her the beans for the old guy.
If you ever call a shop and he answers as Silver Fox, that's Keith.
Silver Fox. Go for Silver Fox.
Go for Silver Fox.
But yeah, I do
Are
other
you
stuff.
are you gonna talk about the other stuff because it's cool as hell?
Like what? Like
Choppers.
the motorcycle stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I will. Yeah.
So if anyone actually has old Harleys or anything, and
Yeah.
you wanna sell them.
Well, look at the number at the bottom of the screen and give me a call.
Get a hold of Silver Fox right here in Archery Country.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I like to play with old Harleys. I mean, it started out with old whatever motorcycles and just kind of narrowed it down. So yeah, work on old bikes, build choppers, that kind of stuff. But that's my at home time.
We are pretty blessed to have Keith here at the shop because if anything breaks,
He can fix it.
he can fix it.
Yeah.
Now, that is not advertisement for any of you out there that come in and ask for Keith. But, yeah, you're a very knowledgeable individual.
Well, I appreciate it. It's what
Handsy.
it's what
He's very, what's the correct
Old?
term for that?
Is it-
Yeah, or
is it
right. Mechanically inclined.
there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
I like fixing stuff.
I love it. All right, boys. So that was 30 minutes. Now the next 30 minutes is when we get to have fun. I took and talked to the guys in St. Cloud, and I said, tell me like one of the greatest thing. I started them off easy, right? I said, tell me one of the greatest things about your job, like what you've seen. And I don't know if you guys listen to that podcast or not, but some of the examples that came in. And then we dabbled, and I said, tell me one of the craziest things you've seen. We're not going to point out customers, but we, as a pro shop in the archery world, maybe not even archery, outdoor world, we see some stuff that is definitely needs to be talked about because it's funny after the fact. Maybe dangerous at the moment, but it's funny. Let's start. We'll do it easy. One of the greatest things that you've seen, Dan, you've been here the longest. Rewarding, and I know we don't want to be cliche and say like every customer is, you know, when they harvest an animal and they come back and they tell me that's the greatest part of it. But rewarding, you know, was it setting up a kid, or was it setting up a gentleman for this hunt, or was it could be anything?
Yeah, it kind of goes both ways. I think it's when a gentleman shoots or really anyone shoots a really big buck, that's great. For me, you set up a 10, 12-year-old kid and he shoots his first deer. There's nothing better than that. Just the smile on their face. And I remember myself shooting my first deer at that age and how it's kind of like a rite of passage. So for me, I think just seeing the kids, you know, maybe be successful their first time, have it be a turkey or deer or even a rabbit in the backyard or something, that's kind of where it stems from.
Meeting their goals.
Yep.
You know, on that. Keith? We have the shortest
woke me
career
up.
here. Yeah, I know. You got too excited, you fell asleep.
Yeah. Well, he took the easy one.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Like we said, the cliche thing. You gonna be all right there, cowboy? Maybe we'll just skip over.
All right. Am I back? All right. Good.
I kind of got a tickle in my throat too.
That's all right. Yeah, the kids are awesome. You know, I love working with little kids. Just seeing them learn something new. So he already took that one. But like, you know, we have customers. I have one customer in particular that I think he's got 7 boys, and they all go out west and they all elk hunt and they are all bow hunt, and heck, they even share a bow, you know, between a couple of the boys. Like they really go out and hunt together. It's really cool. And then he'll keep in touch and send pictures in or come in and show us pictures of the boys or video, you know. And that one, I don't know, in particular sticks in my brain because never met them before they came in. And half the time I can't tell the boys apart because there's so many of them.
Right. Yep.
And, you know, when they come back and they show you a success story, that's really, really cool, you know, especially if it's something you set up.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of the friendships that you gain with the job. It's pretty neat.
Yeah. Yeah. We have some great customers. We really do.
Yeah.
And a lot of them. And the cool thing is we are one of the bigger pro shops as far as Archery Country, 3 locations, but it's very rewarding. And I think to the customer, not just to us, when someone comes in and it's a first name basis, you know, it doesn't even have to be a multi-year relationship. Like there's some customers that have been here since the start, 9 years, but even some guys that we met for the very first time last year, and we just keep in touch. And when they walk through the door and it's a first name, hey, Mark, you know, how'd your hunt go out west?
Yep.
And they look at you cross-eyed like, how do you even remember that I came here one time? And, you know, that kind of thing. Like it's kind of a coffee shop feel, but it means something to us as the pro shop, the bow technicians, the salesmen, to where does it go after you walk through the door? You know, it's not just a hi and goodbye relationship. Jack, you've had a lot of customers with great success stories. Anything that kind of stands out?
Just like personal connections you make with a lot of people working here. Find out how alike you are to a lot of people, and you can, you know, keep in touch and you learn a lot from each other. Another big thing too is seeing, you know, COVID happened. That wasn't good, obviously, but for the archery industry, how much it took off, and like to see all these new people coming in, it really like opened my eyes. Like, holy cow! Like, and I'm not talking, you know, like people who have been shooting and are like upgrading bows. I'm talking like new people off the street. They had all the time in the world. They wanted to do something, and you know, our shop was flooded. They wanted to shoot bow. I just thought that was insane. I mean, I remember guys talking about, you know, how crowded public land was and stuff like that, and it just was crazy.
It's almost a dose of enthusiasm when we get, and it's actually happening more and more and more now after COVID's kind of gone away, or whatever freaking stage we are in this whole game, right?
Yep.
But like the other day, had a gentleman who just purchased 80 acres, pretty close to here. Keith knows who I'm talking about. And the very first words out of his mouth was, "I am absolutely brand new, not just to archery, but to hunting."
Yep.
But he chose archery. Obviously, he'd done some research. And just seeing that enthusiasm, seeing their eyes light up when, you know, we get to saying the same things and selling the same things and going over the same things over and over and over and every day. And by all means, I'm not complaining. But it's almost like really, like I can tell them everything. It's not somebody that is a 25-year-old veteran who knows exactly what's going on with broadheads and arrow tuning, and like it is completely fresh. Sometimes you got to stop, check yourself, say, okay, I can't overlook little things. Like you got to explain what a D-loop is.
Right.
You got to explain that you look through a peep, you know, and that has become more not satisfactory for me, but more it's entertaining.
Yeah.
Keeps me on my feet, you know what I mean, on the balls of my feet. I told this story in the last podcast about the gentleman. All he came in was one of the smallest sales you could ever talk about is broadheads. Had some problems with a particular broadhead and came in and got him a different broadhead. And he came in after he harvested a very, very, very nice animal. He stood in line for roughly 25, 30 minutes just to say thank you. You know, that was like I said, you stood here in line to just say that? He's like, yeah, I just wanted to say, man, that could have been any broadhead, but it's the one you picked out and you handed me in, and I bought it and I shot him.
That's
and
awesome.
it worked. And I was like, you know, it's not the big things. Sometimes it's the little things on that. But, okay, on the contrary, sometimes the little things can be, and this is what I want to dig in a little bit here. We see some stuff, some crazy stuff, some cool stuff. We hear some stuff on that. Let's go around the horn and maybe one of the craziest things that you've seen, or on the basis of, you know, just oddball things that come in. Anybody can start.
I gotta start.
No names. Just remember that.
You're right. Crossbow with tracking string.
What?
Crossbow with like the tracking string. Like
the old school.
Oh, attached to the bolt.
Game finder, whatever they call it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
Do you know how incredibly fast that string's coming out of that little holder?
Yeah.
Did it work?
I don't. But apparently, like
I've never seen him again.
I haven't seen that in a long time, but I don't know who was working, but he like actually said, you know, when it's dark, and he's like, oh, you know, not dark, but like last light, you know, and you can't find your arrow, and it was just like, oh my.
So you got to go through the animal and then go find your.
Right. I think he was getting to a point like he's probably not hunting during legal hours.
That's the best time to hunt.
Well, yeah. If you're going to do it, that's the way to do it.
Do we need a disclaimer for that?
Yeah. You have to use your regulations half hour after sunset. There you go. Covered that up. Good. That's a good one. Yeah. Some more?
I had a gal in the St. Cloud store. This was like the first year that I worked up there. And when it was super busy, it was what was she demoing? A Matthews Jewel, I think so. And she was test shooting it for the first time, and she drew it back, and I said, okay, now just relax your grip, just kind of loosen up your fingers. We don't want to torque the bow. When I said that, she actually released the riser. So she was shooting right-handed bow, so she released her left hand. The bow came flying back at her, and like top cam hit her right. And my eyes were the size of silver dollars. I could not believe what just happened. I said, "Are you okay?" And she looked at me kind of stunned, and there was actually a little bit of blood coming down her forehead. I felt so bad. And I said, "I'll go get you a Band-Aid." So I went up top, I grabbed a Band-Aid. By the time it came back down, she was gone.
Oh,
Awful.
Oh,
ouch.
That's the last time that ever happened, but
right. Accidents.
accidents happen. Yeah.
hey.
How fast they come back?
I'd say about 200 feet per second.
And if you're listening, we're sorry.
Yeah. We took care of that. We took care of that.
Keith?
Well, all I can think about is, well, I can think of a lot of things, but I think about that crossbow that Jack Reese threw. That he's in the back and he's
No, the darting.
Yeah, that darting, and we're in the back and came in just for restring, and then Jack did a good job on the restring and couldn't get the bolt or the arrow to seat, against the trigger box, and well, that's weird. And I said, Jack, give me that before you hurt yourself. So then, luckily we're in the back room, of course, and I said, let me see that thing, and I take the bolt and I slide it in there, and it doesn't want to go, and I slide it back out, and I go to slide it back in a second time, and it hits the trigger box, and it goes off while I'm holding it, and the string hits my hand, and the arrow goes, or the bolt goes into the wall up. And luckily, it was pointed in a safe direction. We always use safety third here, so we're in good shape. So we, oh man, the thing goes off, and it was just chaos in my brain, right?
Yeah, it was you, Keith, you, Jack, and I that day.
Yeah,
and then we looked at the trigger box, and it was crammed full of string
Yeah, it was
wax,
like
right?
a bunch of lube or something, the rail lube, it got built up, and then, over time, it was like the perfect storm. We just had it in our hands when it happened.
And then we actually did it a second time, didn't we? Didn't we test
Well,
it?
a little safer that time just to make sure that, but yeah, it was definitely not working and had to go back. But just plow and you hear stuff. Oh my God, is everybody okay? It was like, and it was, the bolt went kind of through the wall into the back hallway and into that wall. And then we went back to work. But yeah, it was good. We played it safe.
The old butthole was puckered that day.
Man, it was,
Yeah,
it was like,
you filled your diaper, didn't you, Keith?
yeah, but well, of course. I mean, it was earlier in the day than normal, but yeah, we got it done.
Thank goodness it was us. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why
maybe they experienced the same thing and that's why we had it. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it's
we
always
went through
safety
that.
first because you look on the range,
Yeah.
people actually like loading up crossbows. It's not uncommon to see a guy load his bolt with the tip facing upwards. You know what
Right.
I mean, it's super common. So yeah, it could have been really bad.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. And on that note, that's why, not to take the fun out of it, but when we test fire everything when we get done working on it, And
Yeah,
luckily
it was
we did.
safety on it. We got a really good plaster guy, sheetrock guy. A lot of times, and we purposely leave them in some of our demo ranges. I'm looking at one right now that's up. I don't know how high these ceilings are, Dan, but that one's probably all of 15 feet in the air. Mm-hmm. And it's stuck there, and it was an accident.
Yep.
The
Releases malfunction, or sometimes you hit the trigger drawn back, or sometimes crossbows just go bang. So
it happens.
all right.
I mean, the cool thing is like I've already been on one of these podcasts, and I kind of told the story about the coolest little dude in the world has his right-handed rest on our left-handed rest on a right-handed bow, and it's mounted in front of the riser, and then the drop-away cord is attached to it. But it works.
It works, yep.
Every
I know
time
exactly
it
what you're
works.
talking about.
But I guess one of the biggest pet peeves that I have, it's not even really a pet peeve, but it's like it makes me stop and think about what they're saying. And this is a wide variety of customers. But I missed, or I pulled back on the biggest buck I would have shot.
Yeah.
Well, how in the hell do you know that? Because you didn't shoot him. You don't know if it's the biggest deer, because it's always something, right?
Right.
Something, and like I say, it's equipment. It's hunting. It's not killing. But that would be one of my my pet peeves. A big one that's going around right now is actually a podcast that is going to be released next, and that's the arrow building. The whole FOC, I'm kind of going down the pet peeve road here, but if you're going to pursue something, have a little knowledge on what you're doing, and don't just follow a phenomenon or a measuring contest, I should say, that's going on right now on the arrow deal. But fantastic, funny things that have happened in the shop. I could think of 100 of them driving into work, but now you put it on the spot,
Right.
and I don't know any of them. There's been a lot of cool things.
Been a lot
Weird
of
things.
towards busy season, you get those restrings where you don't know how the strings are intact, and you want a restring, think it'll make another season. Well, if you don't shoot it, yeah. I mean,
Or just the guy that like it's the day before opener and he wants strings on within the next 30 minutes. It's like, dude, where were you 3 months ago?
Yeah.
4 months ago.
exactly.
For those of you that listen then that need new strings on your bow, you might as well come and see us in May and June, not July, August, September. It's good practice. We talked about that a lot.
That kind of makes me think of the gentleman last year that called from his box blind. That he was in his stand hunting, and said, I was just going to check and see, make sure I had enough room to draw where I had the chair, and I dry fired it, and my string broke, and I want to hunt tonight. And I said, well, I'll do the best. You come in and take a look at it.
Yeah.
And luckily, I mean, the bow held up, and he came in, and we fixed him up, and he got back and hunted that night. And I don't remember, I talked to him about a week later, and I thought he shot a deer, whether it was that day or the next day or something. But yeah, it was, once in a while you get lucky and can take care of somebody.
I seen a twine string wrist sling one time, like not the orange plastic, but the yellow looking twine string. I seen a parachute cord D-loop one time, like literally the stuff you buy at Flea Farm, like for climbing was his D-loop.
I've seen electrical wire for a D-loop before too.
Serious?
Yeah.
I bet it held up.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Zip tie peeps.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Zip tie
Yep.
peeps. Mm-hmm.
We're really starting to make a lot of people feel bad, I think.
No, that's not the idea. It's just, it's funny. I mean, like if we went to an auto mechanic and some of the funny stuff they've seen,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it's, we're not picking on anybody. We're just having fun with
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot more good than the negative. It's just funny. I seen somebody take a 65, 70 pound bow and make it 105 pounds one time. Seen that. Don't ask me how, but we've seen that.
You get a lot of those guys who, they talk to you over the phone about their raven, about what's going on, can't figure it out. You try explaining them what to do, and then they come in and
You're saying like it won't fire?
Yeah, it won't fire,
Click the
fire.
bolt.
They drive 45 minutes. They get here, and all we got to do is just snap the bolt in and shoot it, and they're just...
Just wasn't clicked on the string. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does happen.
It does, and we try our darndest. Like every time we sell a crossbow bow, we go over on the one-on-one in the range, and we're helping get them sighted in. And sometimes, I mean, little things can... Who is calling us at 9:47 in the morning? None of us have a phone, so we can't answer it. But anyways, that's the pro shop life. I don't know, guys. You got anything else you want to dabble on the pro shop talk? I mean, we could go on and on.
If you
and on.
ever seem like we're very frustrated or just very tired, it's probably because we are by the end of September, just because we do work a lot of hours, a lot of odd hours. We're here until midnight a lot doing restrings and
I
service
think,
work. So
we might as well explain and dabble on that a little bit. So pro shop life, right? So November, December is new bow releases. Everybody's excited. Then we're getting custom orders. So January, February, March, we're kind of getting custom orders and people with new builds. And we have a lot of lessons and kids leagues. So that kind of takes up our time here for that. It's actually when we can organize the shop and inventory and yada, yada, yada. Come April, we're getting the turkey hunters going and we're selling blinds and bow fishing is another big thing that has been around, then you get into that May and June kind of right in the
teeters off a little bit.
a little bit. The turkey hunting's kind of done and wrapped up and nobody's really on their summer quest yet. Your serious guys maybe, but they've probably already been in and just fine-tune things. But once, I'd say, our winter hours end July 4th, and then we start with our summer hours July 5th, whatever day that may fall on. And we go back to 7 days a week. And I would say from that moment, especially the last 2 years, until, Dan, October 31st?
I'd say mid-October to end of October.
Mid-October.
Like if we're not here a couple hours before, at least an hour before, like getting things going. And then I think customers respect that a lot because our turnaround time is a ton faster than most shops. Restrings, if we got to order strings, basis on it, that's going to be a week and a half min.
Yep.
Sometimes we can get it turned around if we got strings in stock, 24 to 48 hours, but that's something you can't ever bank on. But like you say, it's 8 o'clock until we had transfers, we got to restock shelves. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't want anyone to feel sorry for us, but that's the reasoning behind I can't even say the word, long days, so that you can get your stuff and get going.
Yep. It
does help us if you don't wait until August 15th.
Right.
In the most part. Don't get me wrong, you get a new bow. That's, if string breaks and stuff happens. We understand that. But yeah, overall it's
a fun job,
it is.
It's just like anything. There's lows to every job, but there's a lot of highs to this job though too. It's a great job and great guys that we work with and great customers that we work with, and we've been blessed, and there's been a lot of growth with the job so far too. So we can't thank our customers, and also we can't also thank our owner enough.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And we're growing,
you.
like we didn't do podcasts up until 2 years ago.
Right.
YouTube channel, we got a new videographer that's doing an awesome job, and we've done product reviews, but maybe at a lower level, and now it's like in depth.
We have social media gals too,
yep.
and
Desiree and Christina are doing a great job, and it's a huge team. It's a huge team in 3 locations. Each location has its star players, and then as a team, we do some awesome stuff. And that's another reason I think a lot of people enjoy the pro shop here, is because it kind of opens the eye when we say, hey, I may not have a green ambush right hand 33, but let me call my other 2 stores and boom, okay, it'll be here Wednesday.
Yep.
Instead of ordering it and it's 3 months, or I just use an example like that, but we have ample opportunities to make it right for you.
Yeah, if there's ever a product that you don't see in one of your stores, we can always check 2 other locations. So that's kind of the beauty of it.
And we got a good team on our, the new products and ordering and keeping us stocked. And there's some products that we just can't. Yep. It's supply and demand chain is gone.
And I think Dan nailed it. I don't mean to interrupt, but I think Dan nailed it I'm real grateful to be here. I think we do have a great team. Customers are just awesome. Jake's all right.
Yeah. And even the customers, sometimes you get customers that want to come in and not talk. Just come in and get their stuff and leave. And we respect all aspects of it. We got our online store that does great, so we can reach out and touch everybody if they're needing it. We ship a lot of stuff through the shop here. I know we get phone calls every day. I don't know if our number's the first one on the website or why it works, but it works out really good for us. But no, I think it's just a cool, like we say, it was it was a sit back, relax. It was a podcast that we're not doing a sales pitch. We're not pushing any products, and we're going to kind of go on every other situation, because we still really enjoy talking to the guys and gals in the industry, bringing the new products, and a lot of people take our podcast in before purchasing just to listen. You can search through all of them, if it's an arrow builder, if it's a bow or whatever it may be. But we appreciate everybody listening. This was the Rogers location shop talk. Make sure, again, if you're not subscribed to this podcast, if you're just listening online or YouTube channel, you can subscribe to that, get a notification. Also check out our YouTube channel and ring the bell so you get notifications on that, Facebook and Instagram as well. On behalf of everybody at Archery Country Podcast, we'll see you on down the road.
Thank you for listening to Archery Country Podcast.